Hi everyone, welcome to this week's subscriber question of the week. This question comes from Swaroop again, and he's asking about hyperplasia. Does hyperplasia exist? I'm assuming he just kind of generally said, what are your thoughts on hyperplasia? Well, hyperplasia is kind of an interesting topic. I mean, theoretically speaking, it's a really cool topic. I mean, to think, and if you're not familiar with what hyperplasia is essentially the splitting of muscle fibers. So the splitting of muscle cells into more muscle cells. So the ability to essentially go through mitosis of muscle cells. And we see mitosis in all kinds of other cells in our body, but we don't actually, and I guess I'm giving it away right now, is that we don't normally attribute mitosis to muscle cells. So they're kind of long-standing. So they can grow in size, they can get thicker, they can get bulkier, they can have more contractile proteins within them, but in terms of their hyperplasic ability, I'm not even sure if that was a word, but we'll roll with it. It's generally assumed that it does not exist. Okay, so in one of my classes, one of my advanced exercise physiology courses, we talked about hyperplasia. And of course, hyperplasia actually does occur in some animals. You see it in birds. And I believe, don't quote me on this, but I think there was a study on cats as well that thought that there was a hyperplasia ability. However, in humans, there doesn't seem to be really any evidence, or at least not very much evidence, that hyperplasia occurs. Now, some people still believe that it does occur, but it would take such an extreme workload. Like I'm talking like you wouldn't even be able to voluntarily put yourself into that extreme of a situation. It would be workouts that last like 16 hours every day. Like other aspects of your body would probably give way before you got to this level. And it is kind of long-standing stress, like having weights just pulling on your arms. I mean, things like that, like weird situations that some people believe that it is possible for you to have a little bit of hyperplasia, just a little bit. And in my class, in my advanced ex-phys class, we did see a study that looked at an autopsy of one person that was right-handed, and then they looked at their other hand. So they kind of did a cross-section. So they cut right here, yeah, so take this front part of my arm off, and you can just see the bone and the meat inside, and the meat obviously is muscle. Well, one would hope, right? Not fat. And what they did is they counted the muscle fibers, and interestingly enough, they found that on their dominant hand, they actually saw more muscle fibers, actually rather substantially more. So that might indicate that hyperplasia does exist. Might indicate it. There are other possibilities as well. I'm not going to go into them right now, but it might indicate, which is pretty cool. That said, however, it's probably kind of from a long-standing thing, from years and years and years of repetition of doing something. So is it going to have a massive impact? Absolutely not. I think everybody agrees that hyperplasia doesn't occur in a massive way if it occurs at all. It's usually attributed, any sort of size increases in your musculature, any sort of functional increases in your musculature is dedicated to and attributed to hypertrophy. Hypertrophy. That sounds so much cleaner, hypertrophy, than hypertrophy. Whatever. Hypertrophy is the main driver of muscular growth and muscular function. Hopefully I answered your question, Swaroop, and I will hopefully have the pleasure of seeing your faces in the next video. Have a good one. See ya.